30. Worst decisions made out of anger. According to Reddit. Number 30. Not myself, but my dad used to have a serious drinking problem. One night when I was in school, I was driving home from work. And the town I lived in was very small. I ended up driving behind a truck that I was pretty certain was my dad's. Now I should add that I was driving with my bright lights on, because one of my headlights was messed up and it wouldn't turn on without having on the blinders. Well, I am driving home thinking how funny it was that I ended up behind my dad when he slows down and comes to a complete stop at a curve where I couldn't get around him. I was confused. He gets out of his car and starts screaming at me from his car. He is calling me all sorts of names and grabs a Frosty from Wendy's and throws it at my car. He ended up throwing it so hard it dented the middle of my hood. I was absolutely terrified. He had gotten mad like this before, and I seriously had no idea what I had done to piss him off. He starts walking towards my car, and even though he was a good distance away, I could see the look of rage in his eyes. I was physically shaken so much that I couldn't even manage to cry because I was so terrified. Turns out, my dad had gotten into an argument with the guy in the Wendy's parking lot who had a similar car, and since I had my brights on, he couldn't tell it was me, not to mention he was probably drunk. When he got to my door, I assume he planned on grabbing the dude out. He just stopped frozen. He got back in his truck and drove away. When I got home, he walked into his room, grabbed a bag, and left to stay in a hotel and start getting help. He couldn't look me or my mother in the eye. Well. Number 29. I was camping at a lake, drinking a few beers, and just having an all-around good time with my buddies and some girls. Out of nowhere, some douche nozzle comes up and starts harassing my buddy's girl. He's a pretty small guy who is also a pacifist. I'm a big dude that loved to fight. I asked douche nozzle to leave, and he said, "You gonna make me, faggot?" I got really pissed, blacked out, and apparently threw douche nozzle ass first into our campfire. Well. Number 28. Punched a cop in the nose and broke it. It was instinctual after having a fucking horrible day coupled with some creepy fucker following me for 4 blocks. I thought it was the creepy guy, not the cop. I thought it was the creepy guy, not the cop, that I hit when I felt a heavy hand on my shoulder. The cop was freaking out on the ground, and his partner pulled his gun on me, yelling to put my hands up. I had to explain why that mistake happened. Worked okay, but had to go to the police station to explain my story. Found out the cop was about to ask me if I noticed my wallet was about to fall out of my pocket. Ends up with a broken-nosed cop saying it was okay and that it would be let go if I bought him the burgers he was on his way to get. His grin was comedy gold. Ended up buying burgers for the whole department. That was expensive. Not as expensive as fucking going to jail. Motherfucker. Number 27. I told my dad I didn't respect him in high school. He threw me over a couch, and I stopped being a punk kid. Threw you over a couch, that's it. Man, some of these guys are living privileged lives. You punch a cop in the face and are walking as a free man. Number 26. I learned at a young age that if you destroy things that are replaceable out of anger, that you are required to either pay for them or replace/rebuild them. So to try and gain power, I started to attack things that would really make my parents suffer. Don't ask me why I was so angry. It was many years ago. One night, I was especially infuriated with my mother. So I tore up my mother's high school graduation photos and set them on fire. Later that night, when she was flipping out, I determined that I hadn't caused her to feel just as enraged as I was. While she was screaming at me, I realized that I fulfilled both of my requirements as far as something to destroy. It was both irreplaceable, at least somewhat valuable. While I had her full attention, I began to attempt to stab myself to death. It didn't work, because the knife wasn't nearly sharp enough, but I drew plenty of blood. I knew it wasn't nearly enough to die, so instead I drew pentagrams on the walls with my blood. They were very religious, so it scared the shit out of them. Crazy as fuck night. I ended up in an insane asylum for a week. Number 25. A girl chased me out of a bar after an argument we had gotten into. Didn't know she was following me until she punched me in the back of the head. Turned around and elbowed her. I went to jail for that because I stayed till the cops arrived to give my side of the story. I had to take anger management classes and pay her for the insurance of her emergency room visit, prescribing her ibuprofen. And now I have to show future employees a slip showing my case was dismissed. So remember that, motherfuckers. If you're gonna punch a cop in the face, be white. And if you're gonna elbow a bitch after she punched you in the back of the fucking head, don't stick around until the police arrive, homie. Do not stick around until the police arrive. Because, you could have gunshot wounds. If you admit that you put a hand on this bitch, even if it was in self-defense, you're going to jail. You're going to jail, homie. And you're probably paying hospital bills. Fuck this world. Number 24. My older sister was teasing me mercilessly when I was about 8 years old. I was stewing over it for about an hour and decided that the best revenge would be destroying her favorite blanket that our mother had made by hand. One for her, one for me, cut from the same cloth. I grabbed her blanket and a pair of scissors and proceeded to cut the blanket into ribbons in front of her. She started laughing hysterically, which was not the reaction that I expected. I looked at what was left of the blanket and saw my initials on it and realized what I had mistakenly destroyed was my favorite blankie. You got exactly what you deserve, you stupid bitch. Number 23. I was a little kid of around 8 years old, and I had gotten into a fight with my sister. I got really pissed off and threw one of those mini CDs at her in a rage. It was one of a GameCube games, I think. It curved pretty perfectly through the air and hit her between the eyes. I'm laughing about it, but she had a scar for a while. So fucking furious. Number 22. Found out a girl... Sorry, I felt an eyelash dipping into my eye here. Number 22. Found out a good friend raped my little sister. He was 16 and she was 9. I was around 12 at the time, walked to his house and he answered. I hit him in the head with a metal bat. Ding! Consequence for him was some juvie time plus sex offender shit. Mine was being depressed and feeling like I failed my family. But shit, the sound of the ding from the bat on his head kept me going. My man. Number 21. In a heated argument with my mom, I shouted, "Suck my dick." Instantly regretted that. Still feels like something got in the eye. It's just the greatest day ever, really. Just the greatest fucking day ever. Number 20, middle school. Middle school, always bullied by the same guy. After 18 months of this going on, he grabbed me by the shirt and said some kind of insult. I snapped and kept hitting his face till it was a bloody mess. Paramedics came and my friends testified that it wasn't my fault, so I dodged a heavy punishment there. Although I had to do 120 hours of community service, still, shitty friends for never standing up for me. Good thing is that I didn't get bullied after that anymore. Forgive me. Number 19. When I was 19, I worked at a summer camp as sort of a supervisor of the group of counselors. There was an event coming up, and I had wanted to take the day off in order to attend. My boss insisted that it wasn't possible for me to take the day off, so I decided to call in sick because it pissed me off. Now, knowing that I would need a note from my physician, I actually went to the doctor the following day. My normal doctor was not in, and the nurse practitioner was filling in. She did a pretty thorough exam, poking and prodding my stomach and asking if it hurt, etc. I probably reacted in a couple of areas, trying to sell my illness. At this point, she recommends that I visit the ER, because she believes I may have appendicitis. This means a better doctor's note, right? I'm in the ER. My entire family is there at this point. They're having me drink the barium milkshakes to prepare for imaging to see if I need to have an appendectomy. I have to drink 4 of these things over an hour. I'm on my last one, and the ER doctor comes in and tells me he's going to have the surgeon come in to chat, knowing that they're going to take these pictures and everything will be fine. I'm not concerned. Well, the surgeon comes in after I finish the last drink. He says that he can see I'm in some pain, still selling it, to which I explain that we're going to take some pictures to see if it's legit. We'll turn up negative. He then explains that he doesn't need the pictures and we should go to surgery now. What? 10 years later, I'm appendix free, and to this day still haven't told my family. What the fuck? Too long didn't read. I faked being sick to get back at my boss, and now I don't have an appendix. Well, at least you don't have the ticking time bomb that many people have inside them. No.
Here, have some money.
Thank you, fat man. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope everyone in the stream is having a great night. Number 18. I was in my dorm room at college. I was tubby and a bit of a loser. Played a lot of video games by myself. Who does this sound like? His name rhymes with Kyle. Anyway, my roommate and his friends always made fun of me. Not that part. But one day it was especially bad. I tried ignoring them, but when he sprayed water on me, I just snapped and threw a pair of scissors at him. They got lodged in his arm. Someone else was filming it, and of course, it ended up on the internet. They immediately reported me to campus security. Parents were called, lawyers got involved. Long story short, the stupid fucker taping it didn't delete it. Once the college staff and lawyers saw the video, they advised the fuckers to drop it. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and I moved into a single room. Nobody else really liked those fuckers either, so I enjoyed a small amount of fame for a couple of weeks. But since nobody really liked me either, I was quickly forgotten. Number 17. Some punk kid at the mall tried pushing me around, and I kept ignoring him. Kept telling him to go away, but he just kept coming at me. We were the same age, but he was really short and very feisty. One of those short guys that try to compensate by fighting guys that are bigger than they are. He eventually slapped my face, and at that point, I had enough. Right when I turned around, his hand reached for his pockets for his cell phone, which I only figured out later, and went into full-on defense mode. I grabbed him by the neck, threw him to the ground, and with one swift movement stomped right onto the middle of his forearm and broke his arm in 2 to 3 places. I went to the hospital out of guilt, and the kid's mother began shouting at me, to which I calmly responded what the kid was doing. His mother ended up getting furious with the boy because this wasn't the first time the kid had done it. I ended up chatting with the kid and told him to stop fucking around with people very sternly. He said, "You owe my family for damages." I almost ended up strangling the kid right then and there. We live in Canada, and I can tell that this kid is a smartass. I can't tell if this kid is a smartass or too stupid to understand that it was all covered by his mother's medical insurance. I ended up leaving and came back with $50 and apologized to his mother. No real consequences, since we had been at the mall and it had all been caught on camera, so the cops knew I'd been acting in self-defense, although I did get a warning for excessive force or some other stupid shit. But they let me off fairly easy since the deal with similar things all the time. Thank God for security footage, eh? Thank God for security footage. Number 16. Got into a drunk fight with my wife, drove off angrily, crashed into a tree, spent a long time in intensive care, almost died, face permanently disfigured. Permanently disfigured. The real question is whether or not you got drunk because she was being crazy, or if you were both drunk. But again, jumping behind the wheel, People want to see your face though, but you deleted your post. People wanted to see your face. As we arrive at number 15 on the list of 30 worst decisions made out of anger, we are halfway done. Number 15. I was eating some tuna after having a very bad day. My younger brother kept teasing me for something I don't remember now and wouldn't shut up after I told him I needed him to shut up several times. All of a sudden I snap, grab my fork, and launch it at him. The fork hits him in the head. 5 seconds later, blood starts coming out of his head with increasing intensity. Consequences? A lesson. If you're having a bad day, don't take it out on others, especially your family, which is the only group of guys that really give a shit about you. Is that what you think? Is that what you think is just the case in every scenario? That family is the only group of people that gives a shit. I'm not in the mood for today or this list or anything. I'm just done, man. Number 14. I was making food, got angry, stubbed my toe on a salad bowl, and that was on the floor for some reason. Kicked said salad bowl out of the way, got even angrier, went to leave, stubbed my toe on a salad bowl again, picked up the salad bowl, smashed the salad bowl. What are you, fucking, Sideshow Bob with a rake here? Cue 3 hours of my 4-year-old sister crying and screaming, "You killed my favorite salad bowl! Ha 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 ha!" Studio audience laughter. Number 13. Around when I was 9 years old, my sister was always a bit of a bully to me. At the time, she had a broken leg and was using crutches to get around. While walking down the stairs, she hit me with one of her crutches. Apparently at the time, I had had enough of her shit. So I turned and kicked both her crutches out from under her. Halfway down the staircase, she fell about 9 stairs and probably had to keep the cast on her leg for another few months because of that. Well, stop being an asshole. Stop being an asshole and maybe shit like this won't happen to people. Number 12. 4 years ago, I just ended a very serious, very twisted relationship with someone that I loved. It's probably one-sided. Most of these things are. We were out among mutual friends one night, and he decided to hurt me by rubbing his new girlfriend in my face. Well, I got quite angry and decided to try and hurt him back. I talked to a nice guy at the bar, and we seemed to get along very well, and I went with him to a party at his friend's house. That's how I ended up getting raped. Oh, man. Jeez, girls, be careful, man. Be careful, man. Yep, he seemed like a nice guy. and we got along very well. What the fuck else do you stupid bitches expect to do at a bar? Like, guys are gonna be like outrageous jerks. The guys who are jerks at a bar are looking for chicks that are into niggas who are jerks. The other guys are literally in woo you, tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. Oh my god, you just seem like the greatest guy in the world mode, motherfucker. Because they trying to get you in the fucking sack and get them clothes off.
We WUVUKYL, may you get lots of titties and booties and boneless pizza.
Well, damn, fat man, I really appreciate that. That's a bit excessive, isn't it? I'm surprised that you caught this stream. I figured you'd be balls deep in some, in some Halloween festivities. I really appreciate that, 50. You're a bit much. Sorry, I don't have anything prepared today. I had to restart the computer a couple of times, and naturally every time that I restarted it, it was like, oh, let's take this opportunity to update. I lost the feed in my microphone, which allows me to hear my own voice as I speak, which is very important with how I kind of just monitor what's happening. And I'm gonna have to just reinstall some things or uninstall some things. Fucking around with the device manager in the obvious ways didn't really solve any issues, and it's just driving me insane. And I apologize for this tonight, but even starting the stream at all was perhaps the hardest part for me. So forgive me. Just know that I'm down with everything that you set up. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody here. Thank you, Bing Bong. Would anybody else like to stand up at this, anger management meeting? Just gonna go around the room. Oh my god. Number 11. There was this kid at my school who was openly gay. That says openly gay. That made me smile. It reminded me of a time I was on a cruise over, in Europe. And I think we went to a Greek island of like Patmos or something. Or was this another cruise? I don't fucking remember. I remember there was this old dude who referred hypothetically to a man as a gay. And it was the first time I'd ever heard that, and it was everything that I wanted. I really enjoyed it. Fat Man says, Kyle, if you're gonna do something, overdo it. I don't half-ass anything, I full-ass it. Well, that's why the ladies love Fat Man and his full ass. He sent me a Snapchat the other day. Or not the other day, I think it was fairly recently, of him in his clown outfit that he went to a party in. And then he said, in the Snapchat, I think he said, after 6 hours of partying and my makeup still looks great. And I thought to myself that it was the most feminine message I'd ever received from a man. It was a picture of his...
Some people like looking at boobs, others like looking at ass. Me, I like looking down at tops of heads. If you know what I mean, winking face.
Nigga, are you implying that you like looking at dicks? First of all, drop the music out. Drop the music. First of all, thank you, Fat Man, once again, for that donation. You are just a killer. You're a slayer around here. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna have to try and read that comment again, because from where I'm standing, it didn't sound too straight. So join us, if you will, in rereading Fat Man's comment. And I quote, some people like looking at boobs. Others like looking at asses. Me, I like looking down at the tops of heads, if you know what I mean. I think that's a comment about penises. Legendary Fat Man. Oh, he's implying he likes looking down at girls that are okay. It's a blowjob thing, man. You know what I was talking? Because we call the top of a penis head, kind of. You know what I mean? So when you say you're looking down at a head, I'm like, what the fuck? Gay. At any rate, love you. We're gonna continue this list. Man, you fucked my shit right up with that as usual. Forgive me. I had no other way to process it. I just couldn't even think of it. Well, number 11. There was this kid at my school who was openly gay. No big deal. I'm all about equality. Except this kid was convinced that he could get with me and make me gay. Every day, he would try to flirt with me and make me super uncomfortable. One day I was changing after basketball practice and he came up in the locker room and smacked me on the ass in front of all my friends. So naturally, I beat the shit out of him. The only correct response, my nigga. The only correct response. You touching another man's ass unprovoked for, you piece of shit. I'm a big guy, just about 6'3". The gay guy was maybe 5'6". My friends had to pull me off of him, and when I looked and saw what I had done, I realized the severity of my actions. He was covered in blood and was barely conscious. I thought I had hit him only a couple of times. His parents freaked out, and I was almost expelled for committing a hate crime. Oh, please. My parents are convinced that I hate gay people, and they made me take a tolerance class. That's hilarious. Parents who are usually just the most, prejudiced and discriminative, like racist fucking, you know what I mean, in the world. They had a problem with David. You take a tolerance class, okay? He moved schools, and I saw him at a gas station once, and he cowered in fear. It sucks to be the bad guy in someone's life, and if I could go back, I would, but I can't. Yeah. Can you imagine if whooping somebody ass that put their fucking hands on you makes you the bad guy? What kind of pussy ass society we living in, nigga? Grow the fuck up. Or maybe you turning gay, faggot. Legendary Fat Man says, you got dicks on your mind, Kyle? Something you want to share? The only dick on my mind is my own and how I can never, ever appease it. So I'm constantly sitting with like half chub or full boner, and there's nothing I can do about it. So let's continue, y'all. Because I'm looking at like a head at an angle, if you know what I'm talking about. In the darkness, moving it out of the way so I can see the words on the screen. Number 10. Telling a judge, whatever the fuck, this court and this city of Richmond. No, whatever, fuck this court and the city of Richmond. The consequence, 30 days in jail for contempt of court. Fuck Virginia. They only gave you a month in jail for saying fuck this. Well, I mean, you could have kept your mouth shut. That's a pretty expensive fuck this court and city. Nobody talks about my city like that, said the court. Number 9. In an argument with my now wife at our first apartment, I, being alpha as fuck, why do I feel like something beta is about to follow this, decided it was best to show her my love by punching a wall. Punching a wall, dude. 2 things. 1, I had to repair the hole in the wall. 2, I found a stud. Ooh. Number 7. Worst decision I've ever made. You pronounce decision kind of funny. Worst decision, you did it again. Can you say that word? Quickly. Worst decision. Worst decision I ever made while angry? Telling a suicidal friend he was a pussy and just wanted sympathy. So as usual, like most people, turned to suicide for sympathy. Consequences? I saw a good friend blow his brains out that day. Nigga, you all. You all? Jesus Christ. Happy Halloween, my nigga. Number 6. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh. Special thanks once again to Fat Man of the stream. The Famalama Ding Dong. Oh boy. Number 6. My younger brother was troubled in his teens, to say the least. He had a lot of anger issues. I've never been a fighter, but he and my older brother were totally different. They saw violence as only answer to their disagreements. Anyway, one night in my house with my friends, I get a call from my mom. My younger brother and his friend were at her house tormenting her. They were both shit-faced drunk. I made my way there. She only stayed a couple of streets away, and in the time it took me to get there, she'd called the police after my brother had hit her and thrown her down the stairs. She'd managed to get him out of the house, but he and his friend were trying to break the door down to get back in. Can you imagine being that furiously drunk that you're attacking your mother with a friend? My brother had quite the reputation with the local police, so they sent as many resources as they could. That's how you know he white. Because if he was black, he wouldn't have gotten out of jail after being a repeat offender on some hoe shit like that. You throwing your mama down the stairs? What the fuck? 5 police cars and a police dog unit. They brought out the canines. My mom's street was lit up in blue and red flashing lights by the time I got there. My brother and his friend had run into a large park behind my mom's house when they heard the sirens of the police. So the dog unit was out trying to find them while I comforted my mom. They eventually were found hiding in a bush and dragged back to the police car in cuffs. This was a Friday night. My brother was supposed to be working all weekend, but I knew if they took him away, he would be locked up until Monday at the earliest. I spoke to the policeman in charge and convinced them that I could control my brother when he was drunk, and pleaded with them to let him come to stay at my house rather than have him locked up. My mom tearfully agreed, and they let me walk away with him. Really? The policeman, however, gave me his mobile phone number and told me to contact him directly if there was any more trouble with my brother, as he would be patrolling the area most of the night anyway. My brother and I walk away and begin with no problems. Then as we get closer to mine, the drunken slurs start, and he tells me he hates me. This is all my fault. He's ashamed to be my brother because I'm gay. So I decide I don't want him to come to mine and reach into my pocket to get my phone so that I could phone that policeman and just have him taken away. At that precise moment, I look up to my brother that has swung a punch in my direction. I dodged it and clocked him in the side of the head with my phone, smashing it. He almost lost balance, but then definitely did when I punched him again. I then completely lost it. All the rage for what had been done to my mom, for what he'd said to me, for the way he acted, it all came out. This is not regular rage. This is gay oppression rage, okay? Gay man just deal with being called a faggot by everybody for his whole life. He gonna find an outlet one day, and today is his brother. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm okay. I guess I am gay. What's wrong with that? I was kicking him repeatedly. I was wearing Timberland boots. Timberland. I need some Timberlands. That'd be cute. And punching him over and over. It wasn't until I had sat on him, pinning him to the ground, big boy, and punched him one final time that I realized what I'd done. I watched as his head flopped back, his eyes rolled back into his head, and a pool of blood appeared under his head. I was certain he was dead. I can't phone for help. I've smashed my phone. Rather convenient. I can't shout for help. It's 2 a.m. There's nobody around. Right then, I made the single scariest decision I've ever made. I put my coat over his head and left him there in the pouring rain. Ice cold, motherfucker. Damn, son. Just when you thought some girl trying to get back at her boyfriend by talking to some nigga and then going to a party and getting raped was going to be the dankest thing in this fucking list. Here we go. You throw my mom down the stairs and then we convince the police that you should just come and hang out at our house instead of going to prison, instead of going to jail for the weekend, baby. And then you calling me gay because you're drunk ass, and then I beat your ass and just leave you in the pouring rain, motherfucker. Uh-oh. That's ice cold, motherfucker. Yeah. Damn. I ran back to my house faster than any human has probably ever moved. I get to mine, burst in the door. Oh, he's going back to help him. Shout at my friends to call an ambulance, tell them where my brother is, then take off running again back to him. Luckily, he's still lying there, out cold, but breathing. One of my friends arrives a minute or so later. We keep him warm until the ambulance arrives. That policeman also arrived at the same time. He said it was likely my brother wouldn't remember what happened. He was that drunk. And that he wouldn't put this in his final report. My man. I got in the ambulance with them and went to the hospital and then sat there for the next 8 hours waiting for him to regain consciousness. You ain't that guilty, you gay man. It's because you so gay. That's because you care so much. You're so gay. When he was able to have a visitor in the room, I walked through, ready to apologize. What happened next blew me away. He broke down in tears immediately, apologizing for always being such an insufferable asshole, begging me to forgive him. And that was the end of my brother's troubled teen years. He ended up with a broken nose, half an ear missing from scraping against the ground as I kicked him, fractured cheekbone, and a hairline fracture in his skull. God damn, nigga, you the coldest gay I ever met. What a gay. Alright, look. So look, we done with this, man. You are just... It's because you're so gay that you know how to write like a woman. Long-winded. Sorry. Nah, I'm not sorry. I don't give a damn. Wait a minute. Why does my desktop think that Flight Facilities is playing? Slow your roll, rain meter. I'm not sure what the hell you think is going on. Oh, I apologize. That was quite the entry, and its length was unbelievable. As we continue up the worst decisions made out of anger, we arrive at number 5. After a series of frustrating events, fuck it. Today is a good day to try a cigarette. Still trying to quit 9 years later. I apologize, stream. I'm in the worst mood. And it's so bad when I get like this. It gets really fucking bad. Charlotte says, "Hey Kyle, gonna save this stream for later. Just dropping in to say hi and that I love you." Love you too, Charlotte. Sorry. Number 4. When my sister and I were much younger, we fell out, or had an argument, for probably the very first time. She was just old enough to be trusted to walk around the house on her own and stuff, and I'm about 5 years older than her. We fell out, I can't remember what over, but shortly after, she came back into the room we had been in. She was in tears holding a piece of paper. It was a picture of me and her holding hands and the words, "I'm sorry." Aww. I ripped it up in front of her eyes, threw it on the ground and left the room. I'm sure she doesn't remember this, but it still gets me to this day. We get on as well as two siblings possibly could nowadays. I reckon if I asked her, she wouldn't have a clue, but I'll never forget looking at her as she welled up right in front of me. You monster. Guys and gals, thank you so much for the recognition. Obligatory Oscar award winner speech. You fucking loser. Anybody who edits their post to just get fucking nuts because they're an idiot and people upvoted a fucking, oh god. Whatever. You're angry at everything. Number 3. Didn't say goodbye to my mom the last time that I ever saw her. Oh, get over yourselves, you fucking human cucks. I want you guys to think about every fucking day that your mom ever got pissed at you about some stupid shit that was irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Coasters, a dish not being washed, your floor not being as clean as she wants it to be, some towels being left on the counter in the bathroom. Imagine if any fucking day, any dumbass squabble that random people who choose to have such outrageously big problems with you over outrageously insignificant things, if that were to be their last fucking day, why don't you put that shit on a tombstone? You know what I'm talking about? Mad as fuck. We didn't use coasters as much as we could have. You know what I mean? If that's your last day, baby, then let that be your legacy. Live like that, right? But you affect all this shit to yourself where it's like, and then she died, and I didn't tell her I love her. I didn't say goodbye. How could you know? This story better be so dank where she laying on a hospital bed, Guardians of the Galaxy style, like, take it from me, Peter. And he's like, no, I'm a faggot. No, I'm gonna run out in this field and just get abducted like at the same time. It's all kind of coincidental, but we gotta get this story moving along, baby. You know what I'm talking about? And then the sequel, my dad's gonna be there, man. It's gonna be pretty shitty, but pretty cool at the same time. You don't know that it's shitty, though. You know it's shitty at the end of the movie. Kyle, you're spoiling Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. People can't understand you well enough unless they have contextual, Number 3. Didn't say goodbye to my mom the last time I ever saw her. Wished in my head that she'd die. Nice. Only because I was pissed off she and my brother were going to Fiji without me. Oh my god, Archer. And I was stuck with having to go to work. But I didn't realize it was because of her radiation therapy hadn't worked, that she was pretty much going home to die. Cool. She didn't want to include you in that. That's pretty gangster. That's pretty gangster, baby. I had no idea it had progressed to the stage, so when she came to hug me, I turned away. So she gave me a side hug, and that was the best she could do. And she was pretty weak at that stage. I still feel like the shittiest person alive, thinking about her face that morning and her little bony frame pressed up against me. Why would you turn away during a hug from your cancer-ridden mother? Well, I don't know, and I don't care. Y'all niggas need to live your life. Number 22 is a couple of entries away, at least 21. We're at number 2 now, Kyle. Is that okay with you? Throwing my phone because I was arguing with the Lenovo customer support about the warranty on my broken laptop. The phone hit the TV, which cracked the screen on the phone and the TV. Now you got a broken laptop, TV, and phone, TV, and laptop all broke. So you know, now that I'm using Internet Explorer on a library computer, I regret everything. Internet Explorer, man. Isn't that a bit too Halloween for all of us? As we roll up to number 1 on the list of 30 worst decisions made out of anger, I am thankful for my patrons this Halloween's giving. You guys are unstoppable, and I can't get enough of you. I'm also thankful to even more of my patrons because it doesn't just stop right there. Holy bing bong. I'm thankful as well to my sponsors. You guys are unstoppable. You guys are the only thing that keep me from murder every day. Thank you to everyone who is here, and a special dank hardcore thanks as usual to the fat man, who's probably not even here right now. But you know what? He probably gets off to me saying his name. Fat man. What a weird guy. What a weird guy he's getting off to me saying its name, but it's not gay because, he's getting head from a lady while I say it, so it's not gay apparently. It's not gay. It's not gay if you're doing a girl while you're thinking of him. Shut up, Kyle, man. Number 1, man. I confronted my then wife's lover, and he said, yeah, I'm fucking her. What are you gonna do about it? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Your manhood has been challenged. Like, nah, nigga, what the fuck? Get out of there. Get out of there. That's a hoe you talking about at this point. That bitch is just a hoe. Don't fight for this hoe. It was dark, and I don't think he had seen the golf club that was right next to me. I beat him with it severely and didn't stop until I heard sirens. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison? Ask me how I know you're white. First of all, where you living in Bing Bongistan? Where 3 years is probably like the maximum sentence that they do out there or something. I'm very confused. You beat a man within an inch. Okay, first, he probably wasn't dead, so that's good. What's this?
It's only gay if our balls touch.
It's only gay if our balls touch. Real talk though, man. You ever see a porno where like a guy's lying flat, right? And the girl is on top of him, like riding him. Normal cowgirl where she's facing him, right? And then like a guy gets in position to get in the butt. Man, I always think like, if I was on top of a dude like that, you know what I mean? Nah, man. Nah, dude. It's not gonna happen. Not that it's on the table or I've been thinking about it happening. It's just like, that's extra gay to me, man. I don't know. But you girls know all about that life. You girls know all about that life. Guys, it looks like we're done with this list. And I flew through it. So isn't it funny how it barely took a half an hour because, I'm in a fucking terrible mood today. And unlike some of you, I don't really have people established to help me with things like that. But I'm just grateful for you guys being here. And I'm thankful to Fat Man for being such a tryhard, making me happy. What's going on in your lives, guys? Things working out well, things just sliding right into place. Maybe you're miserable and sad for things that, in 5 years' time, it won't even bother you. Maybe some of you are watching a lot of Game of Thrones or, Stranger Things came out. Do you watch Stranger Things? I'm actually, I don't watch Stranger Things. I'm imitating the people who talk to me about Stranger Things. Yeah. Yeah, you talking to me about Stranger Things? You talking to me? I'll tell you what, man, I wasn't in a great mood earlier. And the topic of the list just came to me. I pretty much just typed in, anger, lost control, shit like that. And when I typed it in, this was one of the first pictures that came up. This is one of the first pictures that came up. Crazy as hell, huh? Crazy as hell, huh? And I know you guys probably thought that I picked out this picture specifically. And I kind of did. But what I did type into Google was just the phrase angry as fuck. I shit you not. I can open up a new tab, type in the phrase angry as fuck. And I was coming close to using Arthur's fist, which I've used before. But then when I scrolled down just a little bit, what did I see there? What did I see right there? In the middle of the page, like a juicy morsel. Why myself? I saw my thumbnail. Angry as fuck. The internet really just bends to my whim. But it's not bending as hard as I'd like it to. And that's fine, because sometimes I don't need it to bend. I wouldn't want to break it. Talking about penises now, or mainly my penis. You guys have a great night. I don't know. Valentina says, hope it gets better, Kyle. Time for bong load. Have a great time. She's gonna watch the World Series. Michael Davis says, I got Knights of the Old Republic backwards compatible, Kyle. I'm happy. Glad to hear it. Rage Mode Kyle by Kyle. Take it easy, Fat Man. Thanks again. It's nice to see Emmy in the chat. Nice to see Stripes in the chat. Mitch, Kevin, everybody have a great night. And take it easy. Yep, that's Fat Man in his Halloween costume, y'all. In his Halloween costume, y'all. Tie your shoes, Fat Man. Tie your shoes before you take a picture. Just ripping up the Amazon bags all willy. You know what I mean? No rhyme or reason. Ugh. See you guys later. Love you. Love you. Later. Beetlejuice.